For centuries, Nostradamus's mysterious writings have captured people's imaginations. He wrote strange poems, called quatrains, that many believe predict the future. These cryptic verses have been linked to major events, such as wars, natural disasters, and the rise and fall of powerful leaders. Now, as 2025 approaches, his predictions are gaining attention again. Could Nostradamus have foreseen the challenges we face today? Nostradamus's predictions aren't easy to understand. His writings are filled with hidden meanings and strange symbols, making them open to many interpretations. Despite this, people have found surprising connections between his words and real-world events. Some of his quatrains describe times of chaos and great change, leading many to wonder if 2025 will be one of those critical moments. The problems we're dealing with now seem to match some of his warnings. Across the world, we've seen pandemics, extreme weather, political struggles, and growing divisions among people. Nostradamus wrote about leaders rising during times of turmoil and disasters that disrupt everyday life. His writings even speak of nature fighting back against humanity's greed. These ideas feel all too familiar in our current world. But Nostradamus's words aren't just about doom and gloom. Some believe his predictions also serve as lessons. They encourage us to think about how our actions today affect the future. While the problems we face are serious, we still have the power to make better choices. By taking action now, whether it's protecting the environment, improving our health systems, or working together as communities, we can help shape a brighter future. One reason Nostradamus continues to fascinate people is that his writings seem timeless. Whether they predict specific events or simply reflect human nature, his words push us to reflect on where we're headed. Are these challenges part of an unstoppable future, or are they warnings that give us a chance to change course? This chapter sets the stage for exploring Nostradamus's most alarming predictions for 2025. His writings might seem mysterious, but they remind us of the dangers we face and the resilience we're capable of. As we delve deeper into his prophecies, we're left with an important question. Is the future already written, or is it still ours to shape? One of Nostradamus's most frightening predictions for 2025 is about a new pandemic. He wrote about a terrible disease that would spread quickly across the world. This illness, he warned, would be harder to control than any pandemic we've seen before. It would keep changing, making it very difficult to treat or create a vaccine. If his prediction comes true, it could push the world into a serious health crisis. Recently, there have been troubling reports about a mysterious disease outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo in Africa. People suffering from this illness have symptoms like high fever, coughing, difficulty breathing, and even anemia. What's even more alarming is the high death rate, nearly 8%. For comparison, the death rate for COVID-19 was much lower. Health experts are working hard to find out what's causing this disease, but so far, it remains a mystery. This outbreak has made many people wonder if it could be the start of the pandemic Nostradamus predicted. It's a scary thought, especially when you remember how quickly COVID-19 spread and how unprepared the world was when it first appeared. The possibility of facing an even deadlier pandemic reminds us how vulnerable humanity can be. Nostradamus's warning also highlights how important it is to be ready. Even though we've made great progress in medicine and technology, new diseases can still catch us off guard. Governments, health organizations, and scientists need to work together to improve disease detection, strengthen healthcare systems, and develop faster ways to respond to outbreaks. The pandemic Nostradamus described could have effects beyond just health. A widespread disease could disrupt economies, overwhelm hospitals, and create fear and panic among people. Schools might close, jobs could be lost, and daily life could change completely. His prediction is not just a warning, it's a call to action. While we can't know for sure if this mysterious outbreak in Africa will grow into a global pandemic, it's clear that the world must stay alert. Learning from the mistakes of the past can help us prepare for the future. Nostradamus's prophecy is a chilling reminder of what could happen, but it's also a chance for humanity to act before it's too late. As we approach 2025, We can only hope that these warnings inspire the world to stay ready and take action to prevent the next big health crisis. One of Nostradamus's most talked about predictions for 2025 is about a leader returning to power during a time of chaos. Many believe this prophecy refers to Donald Trump. There is growing speculation that he might run for president again, and if he does, it could bring major changes to the United States and the world. Nostradamus described a leader rising to power but facing hidden dangers that could threaten them and their nation. If Trump returns to power, it could deeply divide the country. During his previous time in office, his leadership style created both strong supporters and vocal critics. Nostradamus's predictions also mentioned deep divisions in society, which could weaken the country's ability to handle problems. Whether these divisions are political, cultural, or social, they could make it harder for the U.S. to move forward in a united way. Nostradamus wrote about a leader who is harmed by a hidden force. This has led to a lot of speculation. Could this hidden force refer to political opponents, scandals, or even public unrest? Trump has already faced major challenges in his political career, from impeachment trials to protests, and some wonder if this prediction could relate to future struggles he might face. Outside the United States, a Trump return could also impact the world. Relationships between countries might change, especially with nations like China, Russia, and those in Europe. Nostradamus's prophecies speak of unstable alliances, trade wars, and shifting global power. If this prediction comes true, the effects could be felt in international politics, economics, and even military strategies. Supporters of Trump believe his return could bring strength and a fresh direction for the country, while critics worry it might lead to more instability. Nostradamus's words remind us of how much power leadership holds, not just for one country, but for the entire world. A leader's decisions can ripple outwards, affecting global stability and cooperation. As 2025 approaches, people are watching closely to see if Nostradamus's prediction comes true. Whether Trump returns to power or not, this prophecy challenges us to think about what leadership means during times of crisis. Nostradamus's warnings may seem mysterious, but they push us to reflect on how the choices of leaders and voters shape the future. Nostradamus warned that in 2025, nature would strike back against humanity. He predicted powerful natural disasters that could leave the world reeling. His writings describe a time of extreme weather, with severe droughts, deadly floods, and earthquakes so strong they would shake entire nations. These disasters, he suggested, could bring famine, disease, and widespread suffering. The world is already seeing signs of these predictions. In recent years, climate change has caused more extreme weather events. Droughts are drying up farmland in many parts of the world, making it harder for farmers to grow food. At the same time, heavy rains and floods have destroyed homes and cities. Hurricanes and wildfires have become stronger and more frequent, causing billions of dollars in damage and leaving thousands of people homeless. Nostradamus's quatrains also mention earthquakes and volcanic eruptions disrupting daily life. In 2024 alone, there were reports of increased seismic activity around the Pacific Ring of Fire. Scientists warn that major earthquakes could hit areas like California, Japan, or Indonesia in the near future. These disasters could destroy infrastructure, displace millions, and create massive humanitarian crises. The effects of these events wouldn't stop at physical damage. Natural disasters can lead to other serious problems, such as food shortages, economic struggles, and conflicts over resources. Nostradamus wrote about famine driving people to desperation, with some resorting to extreme measures to survive. His words remind us how fragile life can become when nature's balance is disrupted. While Nostradamus's predictions sound frightening, they also serve as a warning. We can't prevent natural disasters, but we can prepare for them. Countries need to invest in stronger buildings, better emergency plans, and early warning systems to reduce the impact of these events. At the same time, efforts to slow down climate change are more important than ever. Reducing pollution and protecting natural ecosystems can help lessen the severity of future disasters. As 2025 approaches, the possibility of more extreme weather looms large. Nostradamus's words may feel unsettling, but they remind us of our responsibility to care for the planet. If we work together to address these challenges, we might avoid the worst outcomes. Nature's wrath may be powerful, but humanity's ability to adapt and survive is equally strong. Nostradamus predicted that 2025 could see the collapse of the global economy. His writings speak of currencies swaying and mighty nations falling, creating a grim picture of financial chaos. The warning seems especially alarming as the world faces rising debt, inflation, and unstable markets today. Could we be heading toward the economic disaster Nostradamus described? The signs are troubling. Many countries are struggling with financial problems, from growing national debts to businesses shutting down. Inflation has made everyday items like food, gas, and housing more expensive. People are finding it harder to save money, and some are barely making ends meet. Nostradamus's predictions about nations being weakened by greed feel all too real in this situation. Experts warn that the world could be on the edge of a major recession. Trade wars, like the tensions between the US and China, add to the uncertainty. Nostradamus also hinted at the collapse of alliances, which could make economic recovery even harder. If his prophecy is correct, 2025 might be a year when global financial systems are pushed to their limits. Some believe Nostradamus's prediction may also refer to the rise of digital currencies, like Bitcoin. His mention of currencies swaying could point to people losing trust in traditional money and governments. Digital currencies are already changing how we think about money, but they also come with risks. Could 2025 be the year when these new systems take over, or the year they cause chaos? A collapsing economy wouldn't just affect big businesses, it would impact everyone. Jobs could be lost, savings could disappear, and governments might struggle to provide basic services. People in poorer countries could be hit the hardest, as they have fewer resources to deal with economic crises. Nostradamus's words about famine and desperation remind us of how bad things can get when economies fail. But there's still hope. Preparing for economic challenges can help soften the blow. Nations can work together to create fair trade agreements, invest in industries that create jobs, and build stronger safety nets for people in need. On an individual level, saving money and avoiding risky investments can provide some protection. Nostradamus's prediction about the global economy is a warning of what might happen if greed and poor decisions go unchecked. As 2025 approaches, his words challenge us to think about what we can do to avoid disaster and create a more stable and fair financial future. Nostradamus warned that in 2025, a powerful leader would face their downfall, followed by the rise of someone even more dangerous. Many believe this prophecy could apply to Russia, where President Vladimir Putin's health and leadership have been the subject of speculation. If Nostradamus's prediction is accurate, a major change in Russia's leadership could have far-reaching effects on the country and the world. Recent reports have raised questions about Putin's health, fueling rumors that his time in power might be coming to an end. Nostradamus described the fall of a strong leader and the emergence of a sinister force from within their circle. If Putin were to leave office, whether due to health reasons or political pressure, the battle over who replaces him could lead to chaos both inside and outside of Russia. A new leader in Russia could take the country in an even more aggressive direction. Nostradamus's warning of a darker successor makes some worry that this person might use extreme measures to maintain control or expand Russia's influence. This could include intensified military action, cyber attacks, or other forms of conflict aimed at Russia's rivals. Such changes in leadership often create instability. Inside Russia, political factions could clash, causing unrest and protests. Globally, other countries might view this as an opportunity to challenge Russia's power, leading to increased tension and possibly even military confrontations. Nostradamus's writings also mention broken alliances and distrust among nations, which fits with current geopolitical struggles. Russia plays a significant role in the global economy, particularly through its control of natural resources like oil and gas. A shift in leadership could disrupt these industries, affecting energy prices worldwide. Countries that rely on Russian exports might face shortages, while others could push for stronger sanctions. Nostradamus's vision of nations weakened by internal struggles feels strikingly relevant in this context. While the prophecy paints a grim picture, it also serves as a reminder of the importance of diplomacy and preparation. World leaders must focus on maintaining stability and preventing conflicts that could arise from changes in Russia's leadership. At the same time, the global community needs to stay alert and work together to manage any fallout. Nostradamus's prediction about a sinister successor in Russia reminds us of how fragile power can be. Leadership transitions can bring hope or disaster depending on how they are handled. As 2025 approaches, the world will be watching closely to see if this eerie prophecy comes true. One of Nostradamus's most extraordinary predictions for 2025 is about alien contact. He wrote that the veil between worlds would lift, and humanity would finally realize that we are not alone in the universe. While this idea might seem far-fetched, recent events and discoveries have made the possibility of alien life feel more real than ever. Could 2025 be the year when Nostradamus's vision comes true? Over the past few years, there has been a growing interest in UFOs and extraterrestrial life. Governments around the world, including the United States, have released declassified footage of unidentified flying objects. These mysterious sightings have left scientists and researchers puzzled. At the same time, advanced telescopes are discovering more planets that could potentially support life. Nostradamus's prediction about beings from beyond feels more possible in light of these discoveries. If humanity were to make contact with alien life, the impact would be enormous. Nostradamus hinted that this contact could bring both good and bad changes. On the positive side, learning from an advanced civilization might lead to amazing scientific breakthroughs. For example, aliens could share knowledge about space travel, medicine, or clean energy. Nostradamus also wrote about the potential for telepathic communication, which could transform how humans connect with each other and solve problems. However, Nostradamus also warned about the challenges of meeting beings from another world. The arrival of extraterrestrials might create fear and panic, especially if people view them as a threat. Governments might compete to control communication with aliens, leading to power struggles. There could also be conflicts about how to respond. Should we welcome them or keep our distance? Beyond these immediate concerns, alien contact would raise deep questions about humanity's place in the universe. How would different religions, cultures, and nations react? Nostradamus's writings suggest that this moment could either unite humanity or deepen its divisions. It would force us to think about who we are and what we stand for as a species. While we can't know for sure if Nostradamus's prediction will come true, the growing interest in UFOs and space exploration makes it feel more possible than ever. His words challenge us to stay open to the unknown while also preparing for the unexpected. As we move closer to 2025, the question lingers: are we ready for such a groundbreaking moment? Nostradamus's prophecy reminds us that the universe is vast, and there is still so much we don't understand. Nostradamus's prophecies often focus on war and conflict, but his predictions for 2025 are especially frightening. He warned about the rise of a dark figure, often called the Antichrist, who would bring chaos to the world. According to his writings, this person would gain power through lies and deception, causing divisions and destruction. Many believe this prophecy could lead to a third world war, sparked by growing tensions in today's world. One possible flashpoint is the conflict between China and Taiwan. China has been increasing its military activity in the South China Sea, while Taiwan continues to assert its independence. These tensions have already drawn attention from major powers like the United States. Nostradamus described a red adversary, which some interpret as a reference to China, and a great war involving powerful nations. Could these events escalate into the global conflict he predicted? Nostradamus's vision of a third world war also includes other unsettling details. His quatrains mention the destruction of cities, widespread famine, and millions of people suffering. He wrote about alliances breaking apart and nations fighting over dwindling resources. In today's world, with ongoing disputes over trade, energy supplies, and territory, it's not hard to imagine how such a war could start. The Antichrist, as described by Nostradamus, is a central figure in this grim scenario. This person is said to manipulate people and nations to achieve their goals, leading the world into chaos. Some believe this figure might already be rising to power, hidden in plain sight. Others think the Antichrist could symbolize a group or ideology rather than a single individual. A global war would have devastating consequences. Beyond the immediate loss of lives, it would damage economies, destroy infrastructure, and displace millions of people. Nostradamus's warnings about famine and despair could come true as food supplies and essential resources become scarce. The world would likely face years, if not decades, of recovery from such destruction. While this prophecy is terrifying, it also reminds us of the importance of diplomacy and cooperation. Nostradamus's warnings can be seen as a call to action, urging nations to resolve conflicts peacefully and prevent war. Humanity has faced great challenges before, and history shows that when we work together, we can overcome even the darkest times. As 2025 draws near, Nostradamus's words encourage us to stay vigilant. War may seem like an unavoidable part of human history, but it's not inevitable. With wisdom and effort, the future can still be shaped by peace rather than conflict. Nostradamus's prophecies for 2025 include significant changes in the Catholic Church. He wrote about the death or resignation of an old pontiff, followed by the rise of a younger, more energetic leader. Many believe this prediction could refer to Pope Francis, who has faced health challenges in recent years. At 87 years old, the Pope has openly discussed the possibility of stepping down, making Nostradamus's words feel more relevant than ever. Pope Francis has been a transformative figure in the Catholic Church. He has focused on modern issues like climate change, poverty, and inclusion, gaining both praise and criticism. Nostradamus hinted that the end of his leadership would bring a time of change and difficulty for the Church. His quatrains describe a successor who would face struggles at first but eventually become a strong and respected leader. The transition to a new pope could have a huge impact on the Church and its followers. Many Catholics are already divided on key issues, such as the role of women, LGBTQ+ inclusion, and the handling of abuse scandals. A new leader might try to address these problems, but their decisions could deepen divisions or inspire hope, depending on how they are received. Nostradamus's prediction isn't just about the Catholic Church. It also reflects the broader role of religion in a changing world. As societies become more diverse and modernized, many people are moving away from traditional religious practices. The Church's ability to connect with younger generations and adapt to modern challenges could shape its future for decades to come. Some interpret Nostradamus's writings as a warning about growing tensions between religions. Conflicts over beliefs and values might become more intense, especially during a time of leadership change in one of the world's most influential faiths. His mention of a shaken throne could symbolize uncertainty not only within the Church, but across global religious communities. While these predictions might sound unsettling, they also highlight an opportunity for renewal. A new leader could bring fresh ideas and inspire positive change, helping the Church navigate modern challenges. Nostradamus's vision may serve as a reminder that every transition, no matter how difficult, holds the potential for growth. As we approach 2025, the world will be watching closely. Whether Pope Francis steps down or continues his leadership, the Catholic Church is clearly at a crossroads. Nostradamus's prophecy challenges us to think about the role of faith in a rapidly changing world, and how religious institutions can adapt to meet the needs of their followers. Nostradamus's final warnings for 2025 paint a picture of a world on the edge of major change. His prophecies describe natural disasters, political chaos, and even the possibility of alien contact. These events, he suggested, could push humanity to its breaking point. While these predictions sound terrifying, They also serve as a reminder that the future is still in our hands. The choices we make now will shape what comes next. One of his most haunting predictions speaks of mighty nations crumbling under their own weight, and famine driving man to eat his fellow man. These words hint at a world where food shortages, climate disasters, and economic collapse lead to widespread suffering. Recent events like rising global temperatures, devastating storms, and increasing political divides make these warnings feel more real than ever. Nostradamus also wrote about the dangers of division. He warned that nations and societies torn apart by conflict and mistrust would be less able to face the challenges ahead. Today, those divisions are clear in many parts of the world. From political polarization to cultural clashes, these rifts make it harder to work together on global problems like climate change and pandemics. His warnings remind us of the importance of unity and cooperation. But not all of Nostradamus's prophecies are about doom and gloom. Hidden in his writings is a message of hope. He suggested that even in the darkest times, humanity has the power to change its course. Advances in technology, medicine, and communication have already shown us what's possible when people come together to solve problems. From clean energy solutions to disease prevention, there are opportunities to create a better future if we act wisely. Nostradamus's warnings challenge us to learn from the past. He wrote about humanity's mistakes, greed, corruption, and ignorance, leading to disaster. But his words also encourage us to act before it's too late. By addressing problems like climate change, inequality, and weak healthcare systems now, we can avoid some of the worst outcomes. As 2025 approaches, Nostradamus's predictions serve as a wake-up call. They remind us of how fragile our world can be, but also highlight our ability to adapt and grow. The future may feel uncertain, but it's not set in stone. If we take action today, we can create a world that thrives instead of crumbles. The question remains, will humanity rise to the challenge or let Nostradamus's darkest visions come true? The answer lies in how we face the trials ahead. Together we can shape a future that is stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. As we close this exploration of Nostradamus's most frightening predictions for 2025, it's clear that his words resonate deeply with the challenges of our time. Whether you see his writings as mystical foresight or clever observations about human nature, they encourage us to reflect on the choices we make. The future is in our hands, and the time to act is now. Stay informed, stay prepared, and let's face the unknown together. Like, share, and subscribe to join the conversation about these incredible prophecies and what they mean for us today.